Hello YouTube. We have a new series. This is gonna be me reacting to TikToks, but before you say anything, I know a lot of other creators and other YouTubers do this kind of stuff, but mine's gonna be a bit different. Okay, we're gonna start with TikTok today, but then maybe Instagram Reels tomorrow or YouTube Shorts the next day. But we're not just watching any content and just sitting there and laughing. I'm gonna try to add to it. We're gonna start by searching different terms on different platforms. This is gonna be very vanilla Overwatch tips, because I'm the tip guy. I haven't seen these. I had my manager curate them on TikTok. We searched up the hashtag Overwatch tips, and he gave me 15 TikToks, and I'll see if I can add anything to it. So let's watch this one. Whip hooks.
If you
I haven't heard this term
try
before.
to turn hook to the right, your target will be displaced inside the room.
Yeah, true. This is to turn left and then right, right?
Which is why you must turn hook to the left first. Pulling the target outside. Put it together, you flick left, then quickly right for the ledge.
Ooh. Okay, an extra tip. That's true. This is a more like advanced tip or advanced tech, so you're the person you hook doesn't get caught in the corner. Flick it left, flick right. You can still do this on console. Just gotta be quick with it. And I guess an extra hog tip when you turn pull in that way is if you're on low to high ground, you have to jump as well. If you're a high ground hog and you're hooking a low ground hog, and you try pulling them, they sometimes don't reach the ledge. So you have to jump and turn at the same time, and it gives them enough height to bring them over. There's a couple advanced cool things with Roadhog. Good tip.
Run and change the setting right now if you guys play Sombra. Disable translocated camera lock. First off, hate it when they have settings that say disable something and then an on or off. Just make it that setting and then have that setting on or off, not disable.
True.
By default, this is off, which is bad, which means your camera is locked when you throw your translocator. So in the first clip, you see that I'm locked and I can't move around when I go up. In the second one there, I can freely look around. So this is, again, if I just go straight up, I have to wait till it finishes getting to the top, then I can look down. Again, here I change it back, and you can see I throw it up and I can look down at any point during the movement. It's just, why is this on by default or off?
Agreed. That is a good tip. They need that for Genji, by the way, as well. So any Genji mains here, I'm pretty sure a lot of Genji players have said over the years, after they dash, they're locked in the whole animation. They can't pivot their camera very quickly. I'm sure some really good Genjis have mastered it at the end of it, where they're able to do the ghost dash, but being able to freely turn mid-dash would be really nice. Being able to like pre-place your crosshair. This goes into crosshair placement. So when you translocate high into the air, you know you're gonna have to look down and fight or shoot somebody immediately. So you already immediately start looking down. Don't lock yourself in. That's a good tip.
Use your brain in Overwatch 2 competitive.
Oh shit, you all need this.
Up mid lane pretty hard. What do? We just go around them. Where are they looking? Not at us. Junkrat, dead. Baptise, no fucking idea. Also dead. Now, can anyone answer, where is this Mercy going? Correct answer.
To Narnia.
Fucking nowhere. She's dead. Now let's take a look at this Ram, who looked strong before, but now looks like a complete dumbass because his whole team died behind him and he had no idea. Game's not hard, guys. Figure it out. Use your brain in Overwatch 2.
He's okay. He's just taking an off angle. Well, this is the reason why Tracer is a server admin in high elo, because you're not allowed to do this without contesting this angle. If you're a Tracer or anybody else, you shut down different angles because you're able to be everywhere at once. But this is just the basic idea of doing that. Use your brain, guys. Don't all just clump in one direction. If you all clump, maybe in like a very specific death ball comp, but the game is advanced enough that you're supposed to be paired off on the side, like Lucio, like Tracer. You can be everywhere at once. Everywhere, anywhere, all at once. And being able to divide attention. They are all staring down main, and nobody's looking at you. You pop off. Very good.
3 tips for Mei that you probably don't know. Number 1, her ult can be stalled out for up to 5 seconds by throwing it straight up.
Yeah, then it's gonna get eaten though.
Baiting in the enemy team.
I guess if they don't have Devo.
Your ult got cancelled. Got him. Number 2, you should always leave her ice block a little bit early. If you let it break naturally, there's a distinct sound cue that lets the enemy team know exactly when you're coming out of it.
Not just sound cue, but like also like they know the timing now.
Better players will line up kill shots during this time, so it's better to forfeit the extra 10 or 15 health in order to dodge all the damage that would come in. Number 3, you should be solo ulting people. A lot of low elo Meis think they need to get 3 or 4 in their ult, but that's just not true. If you can make a fight a 5v4, you will have most likely won the fight by yourself. Once again, I try to tailor these tips to any elo player, so let me know if you guys get any value.
That's true. I mean, that goes not only for Mei, but that's for like a lot of people, a lot of heroes. Graviton Surge, Zarya players, big culprit, trying to get the 3 or 4 man grav. All you got to do is use your ult. If the solo kill is the correct play in order to like bring yourself a team advantage, you take it, right? At the end of the day, why do we use our ult or our abilities? It's to win a team fight. If killing that one single person is enough to win the team fight, so be it.
As Doomfist, when you activate ult, you'll have this button labeled zoom out. If you hold the zoom out button as you approach an area with multiple layers, your circle will be on the highest one, whereas if you don't hold the button, you'll be on the bottom. Being creative with this lets you get into some ridiculous spots like this.
Yup.
As Doomfist, when you
Yeah, not much to add there. I just read the comment here and says, I'm embarrassed I didn't know this, but that's okay. There's a lot of heroes that have like an extra button in your ultimate. And pressing that will also help you go inside rooms. And then if you press and hold right click or the secondary fire, you might end up on the roof and stuff.
Here's some useful Sojourn text.
But a lot of times you'll just end up, you can start on the roof and like, you know, reset. You just, if you played Overwatch 1, you should have known about that because a lot of old Dooms would do that to get the high seismic slam to build up the damage. But yeah.
You didn't know. And if this video helps you out, then help me out. Power Slide Super Jump. Sojourn's Power Slide Leap lets you jump high, but not quite high enough to reach certain high grounds. You can get a higher leap though if you jump before using Power Slide, and then jump again as soon as you're about to touch the ground. This tech starts your jump a little bit higher than usual, so you can reach high grounds that you couldn't normally get to. Power Slide Spin. Sojourn can aim in any direction while she's using her Power Slide, and as she moves, her whole body turns, swinging her head around also.
Low-key? I've actually never seen a Sojourn do this.
Back and forth as you slide, your head hitbox becomes impossible to aim for accurately.
That looks fucking crazy. Fucking breakdancing. I've never seen this before. I've never seen a single Sojourn do this in game yet. But it's not a bad idea to manipulate your hitbox. It's because she's already broken enough.
Your camera back and forth as you slide, your head.
Yeah, they can't hit you, but you can't hit them, I guess.
Hitbox becomes impossible to aim for accurately. Use this when you're sliding and you have to reload, or when closing down distance on a one-shot sniper. Extra damage during overclock. During Sojourn's ultimate, you can fit primary fires in while each shot is charging up by holding your primary fire. This shouldn't be your main focus during your ultimate, but it can be useful to guarantee one-shots on 200 HP targets, as a tick of damage will allow a one-shot that you can't get when the squishy has full HP.
True. I've mentioned this tip before, like, it's a lot better now because overclock charges your stuff a bit faster, so it's not as necessary. And it sounds really simple, but a lot of players don't do it because they're actually really focused on aligning their shot versus like holding primary fire in between to kind of like squeeze in that bit of extra damage. But it's a good tip. I know because like I literally researched this for with my Sojourn tips person like 2 years ago. When I was watching Sojourn players in Overwatch League 2022, before Overwatch 2 became public, they played Overwatch League that season on the Overwatch 2 like client that pro players were allowed to use. And I remember watching early Sojourn players not shoot in between in like June, and then by playoffs in September, all of them were doing it. So it's a good tip to add. This one was released, I mean, you guys can't see it. This was released in January 2023, so it's a little old, but it's still true today.
Here are 3 tips for Soldier to help you climb in Overwatch 2. Number 1. Soldier lacks utility, but he makes up for it in his movement. Try to take aggressive off angles to force attention and then run away when you're under pressure. Force the opponent to look away from the rest of your team if they want to look at you. Number 2 is that you want to try and combo your Visor with other ultimates. Visor on its own isn't that dangerous, but when combined with Kitsune or Nano, it's very dangerous. So keep that in mind. Number 3 is very important, and that's that you need to determine your aggression of your angles based upon what the enemy team is playing. Against Ball Tracer, you have to play more with your team. But against a more immobile composition, like maybe Sigma for example, you can have a lot more freedom on the map, and you want to take advantage of that, because remember, Sigma Shield can only face one direction, so if you get to the side of it, you can do damage, and it forces Sig to either look at you or look at your team. It's
true. I mean, as Soldier, you have your legs. That's why they call them legs. It's old Overwatch 1 slang. I don't even think people use that term that much. There's even a streamer called Only Legs. He's a Soldier player. But locking the legs was one of the funniest things that people used to say back then. Or the J Silly. But in any case, you have legs for a reason. You're supposed to sprint, take some good angles, and take advantage of that.
Here's some useful Baptise text you didn't know, and if this video helps you out, then help me out.
That's my hero.
Immortality Field positioning text. When positioning Baptiste Lamp, you should throw it behind a corner where it can still protect your team, but is harder to kill. For even more protection and some stealth though, you can throw it underneath things.
I'll stop you here, because if you do this, there's going to be certain objects that actually break the line of sight of your lamp if you do this. So in any case, I actually would not advise doing this and messing around with map geometry, because this can screw you over. I would not do that.
Stuck on the ceiling on certain spots.
Like this as well. Like if you, it might accidentally just
and you can even body block
cut it off where you don't want it to be. That one's okay.
After as it ends. Also, your lamp has nearly the same trajectory as your healing grenades, though it will stop with the skybox. Optimal damage and healing output. Since Baptiste can weave damage and healing shots in together, you can slip in some extra damage while you're healing and vice versa. For max damage output, you can hold down your damage and slip in a healing grenade every 2 bursts. For max healing output, hold down your healing and then use your damage in between grenade shots. But if either of these affect your aim too much, then you shouldn't force them. Multi-use window and insta.
Do not press both buttons at the same time. If you're a Baptiste player and you feel like you want to do this optimal output and you want to press both, stop.
Healing output.
Aim each individually.
Hold down your healing and then use your damage in between grenade shots.
Don't hold down your healing and shoot in between. Press them, let go of your healing, and aim separately with your shot.
But if either of these affect your aim too much, then you shouldn't force them. multi-use window, and insta-kill. As soon as you use your window, it will double your damage despite the animation not showing it being up yet. This way you can use it to blow up an enemy before they can even react. Also, the best way to orient your window on a corner is perpendicular to it. This way it isn't limited in use to one side of the corner, but also lets you use it against somebody that pushes into you.
The last one's fine. But why? Because it builds a bad habit. If you end up holding both buttons at the time to get the rhythm, you end up just like aiming in a straight line. You pray that the person you're healing is in front of you and the enemy target's in front of you as well. It's gonna mess up your timing. I always advise people to like individually aim the shot and the heal separately, because there's going to be instances where you want to like actually shoot twice versus heal, but then if you want to heal once and then shoot twice, but then you have the button held down because of a bad habit, instead of shooting twice you accidentally shoot out an extra heal when you're supposed to DPS, and it trains your brain to like make separate, like it's like a separate like action line command like in your brain to like individually click each one.
I've been seeing a lot more Sigmas in my games recently, and because of that, here are 3 Sigma tips that you probably didn't know. And if you learn something new that helps you out,
he might talk about Sigma fluxing onto the top of his own head. That's a really obscure tech. Let me see if he cooks.
maybe drop a follow. A sneaky grasp. Most if not all of you know that your grasp blocks incoming projectiles and turns that damage into shield. Something I like to do to make sure that I get at least a little bit of shield is I throw out my shield and then I start my grasp.
Before it, and then break it.
Drop your shield. The enemies who are spraying your shield trying to break it are going to accidentally hit you and give you some free health.
Good.
Safest ult.
Good bait.
Like a lot of ults, Sigma can be stunned out of his. So something I like to do is I can throw my shield into the air before ulting and then play behind my shield while ulting. This gives me the best chance at blocking incoming projectiles and getting my ultimate off. Using geometry in real life, because Sigma's projectiles bounce off of structures, you don't actually have to see your targets to be able to hit them.
Yep.
3 common Mercy positioning mistakes. 1.
Good tips.
Super close to allies. Not only does this open you up to AoE attacks, but Mercy cannot GA to allies within 5 meters of her. So if someone's just in front of you, that can block you from getting the teammates far away. 2. Unnecessary jumps when allies are moving horizontally, which can leave you behind. This can also cut off LOS if allies walk into side rooms with like tall door frames. In this clip, Mercy super jumps after flying to their Ana, who's being bashed out of sight by Winston ult. 3. Getting stuck in cramped rooms that have a single doorway. Now, I don't completely avoid using these, but it is very easy for big hitboxed enemies like Winston to body block Mercy and prevent her from leaving the room, so occasionally I'm wary about using them for cover.
Okay, and yes, the second one, don't use super jump as positioning, but use it to position. And that's a quote directly from Neandra, because I actually work with Neandra in a separate Mercy video on my main channel, and that's the one that they were trying to drill down.
The best DPS characters that you should be playing from bronze to platinum. Reaper.
Okay.
Reaper is a close range character with his teleport.
Next, don't play Reaper right now. He's bad.
Also allows
actually, I mean, he's probably serviceable for, you know, bronze to platinum. Pretty simple. They won't really peel or flank him. But like, don't play Reaper right now. Even though he might like win you some games because he's pretty brain dead and pretty like simple kit wise, he's not great on this patch because of armor and everything. I mean, this is obviously a little old, right? Old patch.
The game awareness in these ranks is very, very low, so it's super easy to catch people absolutely.
That's true, but you can do that on many other heroes. You can catch, the awareness is bad from bronze to plat, so you can do this on a lot of heroes though, not just Reaper.
Next is his Wraith ability, which allows you to get back to safety when you overextend. This is really, really important for people who are just learning how to play the game because it saves you from dying so many times. And last but not least, his ultimate ability, which activates instantaneously and is best to use in big crowds because it can easily take out multiple enemies.
Okay. Next.
Everywhere I go, I get instant headshotted. I feel like I can't move around the map safely, and all I can do is just play these weird angles just to not get shot in the face.
Why does everybody have this caption style? Is this CapCut?
Dumbass bronze. Here are 3 ways to completely counter Widow and make her virtually useless so you stop getting shit on. First way, pick a dive character or even a dive comp. This consists of heroes like Genji, Tracer, Winston, Lucio, or even Kiriko. Diving with these heroes will constantly apply pressure to the enemy Widow and will make her keep having to reposition or show and die. Second way, if you simply don't know how to play any dive heroes, but you have great aim, pick Widow to match her. Doing this will make it so each of you have each other to worry about, and whoever the better Widow is, wins. And lastly, say you don't know any dive heroes or you're shit at Widow. Simply play off angles and make it so wherever she sits, it's difficult for her to acquire kills. This definitely should be the last resort, but it's worth noting. You can also pick a hero like Kiriko to kind of pick shots at Widow and do a good amount of damage if you hit a headshot. Try using these 3 counters.
For supports, Kiriko to pluck at the Widow if you have like a shield. Lucio's a good answer as well if you have good mechanics and just jump on her. Low key, Moira on some maps. Actually super annoying for a Widow player in the support lineup.
Here are 3 bad habits that I learned from playing
Raul
for 20 hours. You most likely hack every enemy that you go for. To be blunt, the hack virus combo is rarely worth it. You give away your element of surprise, which is much more important. It may not seem like a big deal, but in ranks diamond and above,
yeah, you don't have to hack most of them. It just doesn't. The virus ticks a bit faster, but it's fine. Although right now on this patch, virus does more damage on impact if you hack them. Like flat. Previously, it would just accelerate the damage over time, but now it actually does more damage. So this one's a little old, right? It's out, not as up to date with the modern patch. So it could be worth it, especially because everyone has 250 HP now. But yeah, but the point still stands. You don't have to hack everything. If the opportunity to shoot them is more important, you should.
For a virus from behind and then shoot. Mostly, you'll leave hacking to canceling abilities such as res or ultimates. You most likely have bad positioning and then only use your translocator for escapes. Well, that really doesn't work with the new translocator. It doesn't clear enough distance to get you to safety, and any good player is going to chase you down. So instead of always flanking, position more like a Soldier 76. This means positioning on high ground or soft off angles. Then you can use your translocator to reposition in new angles or behind the enemy team after the fight starts. Translocator can also...
That's not a bad tip. That should be a playstyle. It shouldn't be like a one or all. It's like, don't do this, you should do this instead. This is an additional option, and it's like better on this version of Sombra because you obviously can't translocate like across the map. But it doesn't mean you can't be flanky and sneaky anymore, even on the modern rework. You can still do it. It just depends, to be honest with you. So it shouldn't be like a one or all kind of thing, or all or nothing on this style.
Such as anti-nade, or to dodge abilities like a Junker Queen axe, which those offer cooldown cycle. And finally, you're most likely always going for big EMPs. EMP is just jazz hands now. On a 200 HP target, it's basically a hack that does 60 damage. Instead, look to use it to blow up an individual support, or to cancel ultimates like Bap's Window or Symmetra's Wall. Here are 3 bad habits.
True, but the EMP does a bit. It hacks for 3 seconds now. I don't know what patch this one is on. So like, big clumpy ones are higher value, but obviously an individual one, if it makes sense and that's what you need to kill or cancel something, then sure.
Here are 3 tips to help you dumb golds and patch instantly.
Oh my god, this guy again.
If you're above plat and find value in this video, you
feel like he's yelling at me.
Follow, I'm almost at 10k. Number 1, when playing the worst game mode in all of Overwatch history, push, and you're in the lead and near the end of a game.
Yeah, don't push it anymore.
10 seconds left, and the enemy team is regrouping for a fight. Stop pushing the robot. If you stop pushing it,
you change the spawn
take the
points
longer to actually get to the robot and contest the point, thus giving you a higher chance to actually win the game. Number 2, if you're a Pharah, Soldier, or even for some godforsaken reason, a Bastion main, and you're not doing rocket jumps to put yourself in positions you otherwise wouldn't be able to get to, start doing it. You can get into some crazy unique spots that'll always catch the enemies off guard, as well as do some quick parkour to put yourself on high ground faster. Number 3.
I like number 3, just parkouring to like get into positions. But some of these like cheesy areas like this
jumps to put yourself in position
could work like once if like they're really not expecting it. But you don't have to rock. If you're not doing rocket jumps to put him,
start doing it.
You can definitely pop off on here without doing it. It's just a nice additional option if it makes sense on the map, but you don't have to look for a spot every time.
Simple, but start learning and mapping out where each med pack is on the map.
True.
And note in your head whether it's a mega or a small. This way, you'll be able to pick your escape routes a little more carefully, potentially helping you win a fight or even the game.
Not just a soldier, but everybody should know the health
Some
packs.
of you need to learn how to be toxic in the correct way. Because hitting somebody with a question mark after this...
Hello.
just makes you look bad, because we were both dog shit in that duel. Now the time that you want to hit them with the question mark is after something like this.
You are a disgrace.
I hope this helps, and remember guys, Overwatch isn't fun if you're sober. Some of you need to...
Okay.
Here are 3 tips to help you climb with Kiriko. Number 1. Kiriko works best with dive tanks and can cycle in and out just like any other dive hero. When Winston, for example, jumps in, you should try to jump in after him. Use his bubble as cover, use Suzu to peel yourself if you get low, and help Winston finish kills. When you use your Suzu, you will likely have TP ready to escape again. Number 2.
It's fine if it's super coordinated, but if you burn your TP right with them, you better be damn sure that dive was fully committed and really good. Like, this is before this is a little old, right? So this is before Suzu. Suzu heals a bit more now, but like Suzu was a bit more loaded, I think, back then, and maybe on a shorter cooldown. You gotta be careful with TPing in though. That one's a bit of a depends.
You will likely have TP ready to escape again. Number 2. Doing damage with Kiriko is essential to getting full value out of her kit. Early fight, you can look to take an aggressive angle and try to assassinate, or you can scout for your team. Use TP to escape.
True. That's the best one.
Isn't in dire need of healing. Either look to punish overextended DPS or try to look for targets in the enemy backline that aren't moving, such as scoping Ana or Widowmaker, who are very easy targets to hit, even at range. Number 3. Keep track of your own team's ultimates and cooldowns to get the most out of your kit today. Ultimates you want to try
that goes for like every
Soldier's
hero.
Visor, Genji's Blade, Ramontra's Annihilation, Hog's Whole Hog, and Sojourn's Overclock.
Literally any ultimate in it is like strong. Whatever your team has, it's like almost anything comboed is pretty good.
In today's climate, a lot of people don't know how to play Brig. Here's a crash course, so pay attention. Brig's job 99% of the time is to protect the other support. If you're not doing that, you're throwing, quite frankly. If the other team is running Dive, Winston, D.Va, Doom, the most important job you have is to keep that tank from getting the high ground. Do not let them get it for free. I like to hide behind cover and peek with my shield, so they don't expect me to boop them. Works pretty well for me, as you can see in this clip. The only time you should really ever leave your other support's side is if you need to kite something, say EMP, and grouping.
Kite something or just cleaning up.
Rally, your Ana should be dropping with you, but of course it's Overwatch, so it kind of depends. There are
True.
situations.
This is modern Brig though. You have to babysit. You're not a frontline brawler like 2018.
And as you rise in rank, your window of opportunity to make decisions gets tighter and tighter. So making the long one gets punished that much harder.
True.
I'm kind of getting tired of being flamed for playing Brig correctly, especially in high elo where players should know how to play the game, right? Like, surely. GM is a very respectable role. But yeah, good luck Brig players.
Start using these 3 tips in your games and
look at this guy again, he's gonna yell at me.
Start to rank up. Send this to your dog shit friend that desperately needs to see this TikTok. Number 1, when fighting in Overwatch, it's very important to know and keep track in your head what ults the enemies have, what they're most likely going to have, as well as what ults and abilities you can use to counter those ults. This will help you from wasting an ult when you may need to save it later in the fight or game. Number 2, when you get killed in Overwatch, stop skipping the kill cams. When you die, you can briefly ping where the enemy that killed you is by spamming your ping key, as well as you can see the enemy's ult shard. With this, you can communicate with the team and plan accordingly. Number 3, if you're playing payload and you are attacking, if you want the biggest advantage you can get, always fight on the payload. It heals 10 HP per second, meaning it will stack on top of your other support's heals, making you much harder to kill than the enemies. Use these 3 tips in your next.
Gives you additional cover, gives you 10 HP per second, and it's only on active moving payloads. So like a payload on, I don't know, Hollywood first, where it's just like chilling there, it won't heal you until it's moving, and only on the attacking side. But yes, it's extra 10 HP per second, additional piece of cover. It's true, unless the priority is to take a better angle. But yes, playing on the payload does heal you. Push robot does not heal you. And I think that's it for this specific hashtag. Yeah, we're trying this piece of content. Is there any sort of obscure Overwatch hashtag I should be looking at next? Not so much in TikTok, but like even on other platforms. I just went with tips today for the video because like that's what I know best. But just to have a little bit more fun eventually.